And I think we are live. Are we live, Scott?
We are live, man. I believe so.
Excellent.
If we're not, I've done a horrible job, so apologies.
You've done a horrible job, but that's okay. We'll make up for it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Green Pass Gaming's weekly podcast, this time on a Sunday evening. So you'll see that it's a little bit of a different panel today. Pucks can't, unfortunately, join us. He's indisposed. I don't actually know what he's doing. I think he's just making excuses, Scott, but there we go.
Yeah, he didn't actually tell us. I just
no, he didn't actually
tell us
tonight. I think he can't be bothered. No, I think he's actually got some plans already, so that's probably why.
But, plans that are more important than this?
Well, I mean,
honestly,
I don't know, but maybe not. But yes, we do have a really good panel tonight, and we're going to keep it quite loose, as we've been doing recently. We've got some topics in mind, but other than that, we'll try and make it as organic as possible. So joining me, as usual, is Scott. How are you doing, my friend?
Very well, thank you very much, Luke. Obviously, we've got a wonderful panel. It really won't surprise me if it goes slightly off the rails tonight. It already went slightly off the rails in the green room and in the Twitter DMs anyway. So yeah, looking forward to the show.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, it did go. It went a bit weird in the DM actually. I kind of just caught on to it, and then I didn't really know where to jump in because it was just very strange. But it was very interesting. I think partly it's because one of the guests is delirious from COVID-19, and that is
wonderful
and he's
segue. Wonderful.
He's
segue.
just. Oh yeah, I was practicing, and he's just babbling. He's just babbling in the DM. So you know, bear with him tonight. It's my good friend, Indie Gamer. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm going to blame it all on that, yes, because I'm not mad, honestly.
Well.
Yes,
well, I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, appreciate that, buddy. It's well, I got the invite from you guys, and I was super excited to receive that. Then I got the COVID situation crop up, which was not too fun. Felt terrible. But now I'm glad I've been recovered enough to be able to join you guys, because it's always an absolute blast to join you guys. Obviously, we hang out quite a lot over on my channel, so it's nice to be a guest on your channel this time and be able to actually chill and just enjoy some gaming talk with you guys, especially a great guest as well with Boxenberger. So it's a fantastic crew and an absolute honour to be here. So thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure. And yes, thank you. You've done my introduction for me. Archimedes, Boxenberger. I know, come on, man. I'll just let you host it next time. What's the point? See, this is what I mean, COVID-19 brain. It's just bonkers. Archimedes, how are you, friend?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. It's been a while. Last time you guys we chatted, you were on my channel.
Right.
So I'm glad to return the favor. It's been a while since I've been on your show, and it's always fun to chat with Indie. So I can't wait for today.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, as I say, we'll keep it quite loose. Scott, I don't know if you want to lead maybe with the Xbox Gamescom topic, mainly because I actually don't know much about that, so I'm quite interested to know what they've announced or what's coming up or what's
of course.
We'll see what happens.
I think first of all, what I did want to just make sure everyone is aware is coming up later in the show is a very special rendition of Smelly Cat by the Indie Gamer towards Mr. Luke Steele. So keep your ears peeled for that. Just an insight into the Twitter DMs from earlier. So don't worry, Indy, I'm not going to let you get away with that one. So
brilliant, thanks for that.
Yeah, when we were thinking about what we were going to chat about, I thought obviously we've got Boxenberger, our resident gaming specialist from Germany, and we have a very special gaming event coming up. I think it is in about a week. Is it just next week or the week after?
Yeah, 25th.
Yeah, 25th. We've got Gamescom, which I thought, Boxenberger. I was going to ask you first of all, have you been to Gamescom before, Boxenberger?
Oh yeah, multiple.
What's it like?
Oh, actually, let me put it this way. It's a fantastic event to meet other people. It's an awful event if you want to play games because it is just too crowded. There are
it's busy, isn't it? Yeah,
300,000 people.
Yeah,
it's the biggest gaming event in the world in terms of attendees. And yeah, it's just crowded. You stand in line like 2 hours to play a 10-minute demo. So yeah, if you want to go there because you want to try out games, I definitely do not recommend it. But for everything else, it's a fantastic event. The entire gaming community from all across Europe and, of course, from some other parts of the world is meeting there. There are a lot of other events like meet and greets and stuff like that. And if you are lucky and can meet up with a couple of people there, it's a fun thing to do for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it's one of the ones. It's been many years since I've been to a game show, but I believe Gamescom might be the biggest in-person one in the world, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of just the sheer volume of people that go. And obviously we've got Open Night Live with Jeff Keighley. And then, so this past week, Xbox did announce that they were gonna show up at Gamescom. It doesn't sound like there's going to be anything major there. Although, last year I think Halo Infinite showed up at Gamescom, if I remember rightly. They showed off the first sort of multiplayer cinematic trailer, but they've just spoke a little bit about the booth that they're going to have there, which is going to have Pentiment, actually. So that looks like that'll be playable for the first time. They've got Age of Empires, Flight Sim, Sea Thieves, Grounded. They've got some other third-party games like A Plague Tale Requiem there as well. So, and I imagine if you guys have seen the leaked White Elite Series 2, that is likely to make an appearance here. So yeah, I mean, we don't expect an awful lot of things maybe necessarily from Xbox. It obviously wasn't that long ago that they had the kind of E3 style blowout. So yeah, I guess just for you guys, and yeah, Boxenberger, I guess as the German among us, do you have any expectations for Gamescom this year?
What you want my realistic thought or what I want to happen?
Bit of both. Give her what you want, and then honestly, maybe what you think we'll get.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we can expect anything special. At least not from the Xbox side of things. It is just like it is. They revealed their lineup, and it's all games that are out for years. Like Microsoft Flight Simulator, 3 years out. Sea of Thieves is what now? 4 years, I want to say. Grounded is at least 2 years. Age of Empire launched is one of everyone knows my addiction to Age of Empires. An amazing game. Yeah, I've got almost 250 hours into it, but it's out for a year now. So yeah, there's really not and Pentiment. Well, yeah, Pentiment, but seriously, I don't think that this is a game that will show well at a show floor. If you get people playing that game for like 10 minutes after they stood in line for 2 hours, I don't think that we will hear things about this. So, and that's not because the game's bad. It's just because this is not the kind of game you show up with to a game show. So, yeah, I don't think we will see anything special there. It's just like a lot of other publishers, they have just given up on 2022, like at least from the bigger ones. So yeah, I don't expect anything exciting coming from Xbox. There's one thing though, and that is stuck in my mind. Like, you know what happens on August 25th? We have the 25th anniversary of GoldenEye, and that coincides with the start of Gamescom, and yeah, I don't know about you. We have heard the rumors for a long time now that a remake or remaster is in the making for Xbox and Nintendo Switch. So yeah, maybe we will see that. But other than that, I don't expect anything exciting to happen or come out of Gamescom. Many of the other publishers don't even show up. Nintendo, EA,
I think Sony have already said they're not going to be there. So
they are all not going to be there. I think from the bigger publishers, it's only Ubisoft and Microsoft that will appear there. Or so like everyone else is skipping Gamescom this year because there's just nothing to show. And yeah, so I this year I'm not sure if we get an exciting show. Jeff Keighley, of course, already hyped the thing up. He said
It's
like,
not like
yeah,
Jeff.
yeah. We've never heard that from before, but he was like pretty excited about it, of course, as the host. Yeah, he said we should expect things we have not seen before, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't. I'm not expecting too much from Gamescom this year, to be honest.
Yeah, I
You
think.
guys?
I mean, I was looking at the announcement, and I guess maybe are you going this year, Boxenberger, or are you going to?
No, I'm not going.
Give
I
a bit?
actually had my hotel booked already. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we had our big family vacation plan in June, and then my son had an accident. He had to have surgery, and we had to move the family vacation around. And the only week that was possible is the Gamescom week. So I'll be in Italy at that time.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think you might have picked the better option of the two. So,
probably, yeah.
but they did say at the booth. So I don't know whether this would maybe get you excited for going indie, maybe for yourself as well. They have said in terms of maybe new stuff that's going to be obviously Pentiment, as you mentioned. I agree about that one not necessarily being a good show floor type game just based on the style. I had maybe similar thoughts about As Dusk Falls as well, actually. But they've got a Plague Tale Requiem, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to. Minecraft Legends is going to be there. I think that'll be the first time that's playable on a show floor. So that's just announced.
Planet of Lana is going to be on the show floor.
Planet of Lana.
Yeah, Planet of Lana. High on Life, that was shown off during the E3 showcases, is going to be there as well. I don't know if you guys did you guys see the High on Life Twitter account that memed the Forspoken trailer by any chance? That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's going to be some decent games that I think people are looking forward to. But obviously, if you're not there, you're not going to obviously get the chance to play them, unfortunately.
In terms of announcements, I mean, like you said, there's there especially Plague Tale for me, of course, but also Planet of Lana and High on Life. Really looking forward to play these games. But we have seen the trailers, we've seen gameplay. I'm good to go. I want to play the games. I don't need another gameplay teaser or something from there. So yeah, I'm. And I don't think that we will get any surprise announcements. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty low key, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Indy, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be quite a good amount of stuff on show, but like some good publishers have confirmed they're going to be on the show floor and stuff. Like obviously Thunderful, who are going to be showing off Planet of Lana. Are we talking about which show? Are we talking about general Gamescom here, or are we talking anything specific in Gamescom, or just general?
No.
Yeah,
just anything that you may be expecting to be there or hoping to see, really.
I mean, there's going to be another. Well, I can say generally. Then there's obviously a bit of the schedule is going to be opening night live, obviously on the Tuesday, I think it is, and then there's another Future Games show, which is looking actually like to be a really good. Future Game show, this one, mainly because of the games, obviously, and that is everything. But it's got The Last Case of Benedict Fox is going to be shown in that particular show, which was one of the games at the Xbox showcase, which I was really looking forward to. So something more on that would be nice. I think it was targeted as early 2023, that game. So I mean, it's always subjective, and the thing is, we don't know what is going to be announced, if you know what I mean. So the surprises are all left to be found out, obviously. So we can't really speculate on what we don't know on that side of things. But as far as like publishers and stuff like that who are showing up, you know, you got like Devolver confirmed, and all those big names are going to be there on show floor, showcasing some great games. So I think it's good in that regard. But yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, to speculate? I think, like we talked about, Planet of Lana potentially coming up at the show, but then you sort of mentioned that it was going to be delayed until 2023. So I was thinking it might have got a release date still, as it was originally targeting 2022. But yeah, maybe it's not going to show up at that show on the opening night live, because the reason I thought that was because it showed up before at Jeff Keighley's show. But yeah, maybe it's not going to be there then, because like you say, you found a little cheeky little leak on that one. They need to update that to 2023. Maybe it'll be a new trailer to update, I suppose. But yeah, but I think there'll be some good stuff shown. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of speculate of stuff which is going to be there. But I think Gamescom always brings a good show. Like, we got last year's, I think we did a live reaction on it last time. It was some good stuff. I think that might be when the Planet Lana one was actually on the Gamescom one, actually. But yeah. I think I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what comes out of it. It's tricky for new announcements. I don't really know. I'm not putting my ear to the ground to find out any rumours and stuff. So, but yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to hearing what comes out of it, basically.
Yeah. Look, do you have any particular expectation? Can you remember what was shown last year? Because I guess the main event's going to be open night live. If anything big is going to be announced, it's going to be a Keighley's thing rather than anything that Xbox or a publisher do. Can you remember anything that stood out from last year for yourself?
I think I remember it was a fairly good show last year. I remember he had that's where the limited edition Infinite controller, the Elite controller, and the Xbox was revealed, I think, and they did the Halo multiplayer stuff.
Yes,
cinematic. And
I forgot about the console, actually.
Yeah, not that that's like a huge thing, but it was quite cool. And I think they did like the Saints Row reveal, and Marvel's Midnight Suns. I think they did that.
Yeah.
That was all opening night live. So, what else did they do? I feel like Horizon Forbidden West was there in some capacity. I remember they did
the release date there.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you. Yeah. And they did the most important announcement of all, probably of that year, which was the Death Stranding director's cut.
Yeah.
So
I thought you'd say that. They also had Shredder's Revenge as well, didn't they?
They did have Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. So I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah. Saints Row was announced there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saints Row. Yeah. So I think I think everyone has to temper their expectations with it, because it's not going to be like big earth-shattering reveals, but there will be some cool stuff. I mean, opening night live, typically does have some cool stuff. And I mean, in terms of Xbox's presence, I guess on the show floor, that might be cool for people. But in terms of any big reveals, I don't expect anything at all. As Archimedes said, Pentiment being shown off on the show floor, I think is probably not actually a good thing. I think that's I don't know how well that will be received when people sit down and it seems like a long warm game, one that you actually have to dive a number of hours into. So, and there's no action in it, so it's not going to captivate people as they're standing there in a massive queue. So, a bit of a weird one, but they've got some cool indies, as people have said. Planet of Lana. I think Last Case of Benedict Fox is playable as well on the show floor.
I didn't realize that, actually. I didn't. I must have missed that one. That was one of my favorite things that they showed off at E3. E3.
It's going to be shown on the Future Games show as well, like I say.
Yeah. So, I think there'll be some cool stuff, but the most interesting stuff will come from opening night live. I don't think it will come anywhere else. I mean, I think potentially we're a month away from a big show, which is probably Sony Showcase. They had one last year, so right now we're just kind of this lull period where we're not going to have that much until then, presuming that they have one next month. So, but yeah, I think particularly opening night live for indies, I would imagine would be quite good. Because he was last year, and he tends to really highlight those type of games in this type of show. So let's wait and see.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just looking through some of the like the highlights from last year's Open Night Live. Actually, I've got an article from Games Radar here, and they had Marvel Midnight Suns, Saints Row, Call of Duty Vanguard. They had the single player demonstration. That Halo Infinite, Luke Cult of the Lamb was premiered at Gamescom Open Night Live. Apparently,
there,
well, we'll
okay.
probably touch on that in a moment. Indie for You, Midnight Fight Express was there.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, TMNT, Demon's Slayer, some Super Monkey Ball, Splitgate, Riders Republic, Lego, the Skywalker Saga, Dog V. Dog was that the really horrendous like K-pop or J-pop like dance song thing? If I
It was
remember,
the
Was that the one that was like hyper realistic, sort of looking?
Yeah,
but it was
it was
also
that.
like anime at the same time almost.
yeah.
Yeah. That was great. I loved
It
that.
looked good, that one.
That
Yeah,
was
it's
so
really good.
fun. Yeah.
Luke,
Yeah.
stop it, Luke.
Loads of
Looked
people
great.
love that, Scott.
Yeah, it looked great. Well, I don't know if it is actually great, but it looked
Yeah,
cool.
it did look quite interesting, I thought.
Yeah, so
God's not
he
big,
had he had some decent stuff there. Sifu was there, Death Stranding, as you mentioned. So
Yeah.
I think if it's anything like last year and it's got that caliber of games, I think the Open Night Live in particular should hopefully be a decent show. But Boxenberger, I have just seen your message in the chat. The guy saying temper expectations at every show's the modern tagline, which is true. And I think for the shows that we've had this year, I wish I'd maybe tempered my expectations a bit more going into them because particularly the Xbox One, unfortunately, I wasn't quite.
Depends what people are looking
pleased
for,
with that,
though.
maybe.
I was gonna say, like, people always say this temporary expectation things, and I know I understand it and I agree with it as well. But I don't feel the need to ever say that because if you're looking for all kinds of games, then you're probably going to be happy. If there's lots of indies and stuff like that you enjoy, then I think you'll be happy with these sorts of shows personally. But there we go.
That's true. Although I have to also say, well, these publishers, they hype us up as well. So it's not just always that we have unrealistic expectations or so. It's like the Xbox showcase, for instance. This year they hyped everyone up. They didn't even, usually they say at least temper your expectations, but this year, nothing. So yeah, I think like 2022 is just this year where COVID really shows and what the outcome is, and so obviously we have to temper the expectations.
Yeah, I think there's an element of truth to both. I mean, Indie, you are absolutely right, but and I think for some showcases maybe it's a bit easier to kind of go with that mindset. But for like the larger ones, like Xbox, like Boxberger says, they kind of hyped that up a bit more than they should. They didn't set any expectations, which I think was the one mistake that they made about their summer showcase. Had they tempered their, not necessarily even tempered, just set expectations about what they were going to cover in the show, that would have been fine, and it probably would have then been a good show.
Absolutely.
But something like Future Game Show, I know we covered that obviously around that time, Indy. We were on your show, and I guess the expectations going to that show were obviously very different. But it's obviously very, very difficult, and this is just going to be one really with Open Night Live, isn't it? So
Yeah, I mean, it's different for each individual person, though. If someone's like a real massive fan of certain games, and they say they love strategy games only or whatever, and they're going into a showcase thinking if there's like 5 amazing strategy games, it's going to be the best show ever, but then there's no strategy games, then that's on them, really. You know what I mean? Temporary expectations is one of them things. I know it's a blanket thing, but like I feel like if you are looking broadly and going in open-minded, I think that's the best way, is to just enjoy it as a whole. And, you know, try stuff out that you haven't tried before if you're not already in that boat, personally.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely fair, mate. That's absolutely fair. So I'm looking forward to Open Night Live, though. It's kind of one of those things with Keely's shows. I often try to just go into them with very much an open mind, because I do often feel in the past he has hyped his shows up a little bit too much. But actually, has he said much about Open Night Live so far?
Oh yeah, he hyped it up actually.
Okay,
Like,
I must have missed that actually.
I can't exactly remember how many world premieres we're gonna see, and he also said that he will have stuff that we usually don't see at Gamescom. So
yeah, he's actually hyping it up quite a bit this time, I think. Like last time, he actually played it down. I don't know if you remember. He said it's it's games that have been seen before, quite a lot of it. So playing it down a bit. It's not that many new things, but this time he's like Boxenberger said, I think he's more hyping it again, like for new stuff. So I think I know he's been crazy in the past. He's been like a bit over the top hype. Maybe he's getting used to things, but now the last two, it seems hopefully is, a bit more consistent with the actual show itself. What he says, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and I think he's confirmed a few things there already. So I remember he said that there'd be another look at Callisto Protocol, for example.
Right,
maybe another demo, which is cool.
Do you want that look? Out of interest,
yeah,
I know you're
I'd
extremely excited.
yeah.
Do you want to see another look after the last big blowout?
Yeah, I don't need to, but I would like to see more, just because it looks cool.
So it's not in Deathloop territory yet.
Nothing's in Deathloop territory. No, it's almost impossible to replicate that now. It's just ridiculous. I think Oddworld Soulstorm came pretty close.
That's
when
right.
that was being shown off as well.
Oh yeah.
So I think it'd be cool to see that again. I think he said like Sonic Frontiers will be there as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here we go. And I think there's some other stuff that he's confirmed. But yeah, he did seem to be quite excited about it. And I think when we say temper expectations, I think that kind of generally means don't expect big AAA game reveals. And that's what we mean by that. And I think it's fair to say that, because I don't think you can temper expectations around indies, because most indies that are announced are surprises. They're things you've never seen before, never even envisaged. So it's not as if you're anticipating them per se. You're just kind of reacting to them, and I think there will be some of that here as well. I mean, I'm just going to go into it with an open mind. I mean, it's crept up on me. I just completely forgot about it, that it was happening. So I'm pretty excited for it, but I'm not going to get too into the weeds of what will be there or won't. There'll be over 30 games. I'm sure there will be plenty that people will be interested in.
Yeah,
I wonder if sorry, I was going to say, I wonder if there's the Hyperlight, what's it called, Breaker. I wonder if you see that yet. Sorry, just to throw that in there. Hyperlight Breaker would be lovely to see the sequel to Hyperlight Drifter. Yeah. Be very tasty.
Maybe we'll... Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, I'm just looking through Keely's tweets, actually, because I've missed a lot of stuff he's talked about, apparently. Sonic Frontiers, he's confirmed is going to be there. It looks like Unknown Worlds are going to be there. They are, right? Showing off, new IP turn-based strategy game.
That's me out.
Yeah, I think Boxenberger might be in for that. Boxenberger, the sci-fi strategy game, Goat Simulator.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Return to Monkey Island is going to be there.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's supposed to be this year still, isn't it? Unless it's changed. It did say 2022, I think, initially.
Yeah.
Actually, don't know.
Yeah, so he's already confirmed a few things are going to be there, but maybe for a bit of fun, if there was one thing that could turn up, obviously, let your dreams go wild here. If one thing could turn up, what would it be, guys? If Keely managed to nab one thing from someone, what would it be?
Death Stranding 2.
Oh, stop with that.
Well, it's realistic. It's semi-realistic.
I love the passion for that.
Does Kojima turn up? Does he? Because he skipped some of Games Fest to appear at Xbox. So does he turn up yet?
This is his favour back to Keely letting him go on Xbox's showcase.
Do you think he'd want to do a sequel though of that franchise?
Yeah. I think from everything that we've heard, and Norman Reedus openly saying, they're making a sequel. I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, I think he loves the IP. So, and so do I. So brilliant. I think realistically, not really, something that's wishful from me, but I think it's about time we could see it, and it would be a good place to show it. Would be Playdead's new game.
Yeah, nice.
So
good shout.
This would be like a great place to show that, and that would instantly, unless Death Stranding 2 was announced, probably be the game of opening night live for me. Yeah, I'd like that.
On a similar note, Luke, sorry, Indy.
No, go, man. That's all good.
Somerville was rather absent from Xbox's showcase. They showed it off in like the calendar is coming out in the next 12 months, but it didn't show in a sizzle reel or anything as part of that show, which I was a little disappointed about actually, because I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit more from that. So it would be nice if we can maybe get a little bit of an update from it's Jump Ship, isn't it? That's doing Somerville.
Yeah.
Appropriately named dev studio.
Yeah.
So
classic.
Yeah. How about you, Andy?
Well, without the risk of sounding cliche, I won't say it, because you probably know what I would say if the one game that I won't say it even.
Everyone knows what you're thinking.
The S word, I won't say it.
You've already seen that. You don't need to see more.
Well, as in like more. But anyway, let's move off that, because I've got another one, which is more of a random. Potentially be amazing to see it back after all this time. I think it definitely is still being made. So The Last Night, please, that would be lovely.
Yeah, that's good shout.
Yeah, The Last Night we saw at Xbox 2017, I think, was it? 2017? Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was a while ago. I'm shocked if it's that long, because it seems that's a really long time ago now.
It's a long time. I think it is 27 or 2018.
It's probably right. Yeah, 2017, 2018.
Yeah, I think it is. But obviously that Cyberpunk game that everyone absolutely gushed over, and most of us probably still remember. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, Cyberpunk perfection. Beautiful pixel art sort of world. It looks amazing. Look it up if you haven't already seen it. The Last Night, it looks so good, and it'll be so great to see it back. That's my little cheeky pick that I would love to see.
That's a good one. I already mentioned mine. I would love to see a GoldenEye. This is now just stuck in my head because it's the 25th anniversary, so yeah. I
mean, I guess this is kind of like I kind of felt when people were talking about that being shown off at E3, I kind of felt that was maybe like E3 was almost too big for it. If it was a complete remake, fair enough. But from what I understand, Boxenberger, it's just the remaster that was originally developed for the 360, isn't it?
That's what we all assume.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's not official. We don't know. Maybe they've done something a bit more significant. But I've honestly still got my reservations about that Boxenberger. I'm sorry to say, I've not played it in so long, and I just worry about how it holds up. In this day and age.
I just have so much nostalgia for that. But that's just me, of course.
They're going to be doing a GoldenEye 25th anniversary at EGX. I think they're doing like a LAN competition or something like that. I don't know, something along them lines.
Nice.
So that might be quite interesting.
So is that going to be GoldenEye LAN competition?
I think I'd have to look that up quickly. It's something 25th anniversary thing they're doing, like a competition or just a party style thing. I'll check it out. It's on their page.
I'm just wondering if it was like a LAN for that, like either it is out on Xbox by then, or they're going to be whipping out a bunch of N64s.
They have a retro area, so they probably have got plenty of consoles, etc. They've got LAN set up for the PCs as well. Maybe they even do it for the PCs. I don't know. But they always do like that sort of stuff, different areas with that kind of thing going on. You can play like old SNESes on like CRT TVs and pinball machines, all sorts of stuff. Nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool. But I will play it if it comes out, Boxenberger. But like I say, I'm just a little hesitant because of like obviously how that game originally handled and comparing it to more modern games.
I totally get what you
So-
mean. I totally get what you mean.
I've just checked it out quickly, actually. I think it's a tournament. They're not necessarily doing it as a link up, but I think they've got other link ups going on for other games. But so I think what they probably do is for player and do like a competition for get a final winner on it. So that's what they're doing. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. I do have really fond memories of GoldenEye though as a kid, playing as Odd Job and being the smallest guy on the bloody thing and the golden gun and things like that.
Exactly. It says on the tweet, funnily enough, if you're playing as Odd Job, it is cheating. As a joke.
Yeah. I think they had the big head cheat for that as well, didn't they? If I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
good
it
times.
will be like a good nostalgia hit at the very least, if nothing else. So so it will be cool because that game. I mean, I know some people played. I believe back in the 360 days. Please correct me if I'm wrong if anyone knows this, but I think back in the 360 days you could access something called like Partner Net or something like that, which was kind of like a version of Xbox Live for like Xbox employees, and you could get like development versions of games, and I believe GoldenEye was available on that, if I remember rightly. I could be mistaken that, but I believe it was pretty much ready to be released before it got kind of pulled at the last minute. So
Okay.
yeah. Do you know why it never came up, Boxenberger?
I have no idea. I've heard it multiple times now that that something weird happened during development, but honestly, no one ever told me what is that weird thing that apparently happened. So at least I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably licensing, really. I imagine
it's got to be with that
between
game, isn't it?
what,
the
Nintendo,
license
Xbox,
issue-
and
yeah, exactly. The license issue was actually the reason why they never had a sequel, and that's how Perfect Dark came to life. They
Right,
lost-
yep.
yeah,
Rare
that's
lost
right.
the-
Actually, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They lost the rights for GoldenEye or the James Bond license, and that's why it never came out.
That's why it feels
That's it.
exactly like it in the mechanics and all the the heads up display and everything in it is the same.
It's funny how those things work out, isn't it? So
Yeah.
but if I'm right, I actually just seen a message from Pyro on the chat. He says MGM with the licensing rights. Isn't MGM owned by Amazon now as well?
Really?
Could be. That could be.
I think that's right. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm not too sure why I thought. I'm pretty sure I read something about James Bond and Amazon not too long ago. So
They
but
should
I
call
guess
it,
this will be
like,
the time to
Jimmy
reveal.
Bond or something, and they'll get away with it.
Barry Fond or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they did that James. What was that with that back in the day? James Pond Robocod or something. Do you remember that game? Was it James Pond Robocod? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just thought. I think I was on the
might
Amiga
be.
or something. Well, that sounds like it was just
James Pond.
right. Look up James Pond Robocod. Like he's a fish, basically. You're in for a treat.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, James Pond. It's on the Switch. If anyone's
Is it?
interested, $9.99 on the eShop for James Pond.
I didn't know that.
Came out in 2019.
Oh, that must be a remake of it then, because
Yeah,
I'm sure it was
it
on the
must be.
Amiga or something.
Oh, Indy, it's got online support and everything.
We need
Might have to-
GoldenEye. We don't
Exactly.
need it.
Yeah,
We don't need it.
we might have to hit that up for some streaming action on James Pond.
Yeah. I love it. Dear.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, but Gamescom, it's coming up soon. Obviously, it'll be good to see what Keely's got in particular, but low expectations from an Xbox perspective. Before we move on, though, actually, guys, in terms of game shows for the rest of the year, what are we expecting? Obviously, I know we've got the Game Awards, obviously end of year guaranteed, but nothing else announced so far between now and then. What are people expecting?
That's a fantastic question. We all expect Sony to have a showcase to some capacity because, well, they have God of War Ragnarok coming this year, yeah? And I mean, that's definitely a big title that deserves some advertisement and proper showcase. And so yeah, that's one thing I at least expect to happen this year. And EA is one thing that is a little a weird one for me, because they have actually a couple of things in the pipeline, and they already teased a lot of stuff. They said, well, Dragon Age, the new one, yeah, they're gonna show that off this year. So yeah, I expect them to have something at least. Yeah. So how about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd be very surprised if Sony didn't have something. Given they had one last year in September, I'm sure they've got a lot to show. And as you say, you know, God of War releasing, I would expect that showcase to have a gameplay demo or something like that, because they haven't, apart from the first gameplay trailer they did, they haven't really shown a load of the game off. Yeah. So we've got gameplay from it, but not an extended sequence of gameplay. Yeah. So expect that, and I think, you know, they've got various things cooking up, so I think they could have a really good show. Obviously, you know, they tend to have really good third-party stuff at their shows as well. Yeah. In terms of new announcements or, you know, kind of re-reveals, that sort of stuff. What else have we got? We've got Ubisoft Forward coming up. Yeah. Which is next month.
Right.
I'm not even taking the piss when I say this, but I genuinely just forgot. I think just through pure just lack of caring that they had announced that show.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I can't say it's one that I'm anticipating, because I'm not. Of course, I'll watch it. But really, for me, the only thing there that they could show that I would be really interested in seeing is the Splinter Cell remake.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ready to show, probably. So other than that, I mean, maybe they'll show more of Avatar. Obviously, it's had a recent delay. Yeah. But they might want to show some more stuff on that. New Assassin's Creed, probably. Can't say that interests me, but, you know, it'd be interesting to see what direction they take it. Yeah. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd rather... I think as Boxenberger said, like, I'd rather have EA have a showcase at this point, because I think they've actually got a lot of stuff that I'm interested in now. You know, they're kind of turning their ship around in terms of the variation of, you know, the content that they have. So
imagine 10 years ago saying that statement. Look, you'd rather see an EA show rather than
Ubisoft. Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it? It just shows you how far Ubisoft have fallen, I think.
Yeah.
So and then we've got Game Awards, where everybody will have a presence. I think maybe we're still waiting for Nintendo to have like a proper direct, because they've not really. It's been kind of weird what they've done this year, where they've just kind of like had separate directs for different titles. Yeah. And then random drops of announcements like Bayonetta 3 and stuff like that, in terms of like release date and new trailers. So I do wonder if they're actually going to have like a proper, you know, Nintendo Direct, but maybe they won't. I mean, I guess they don't really need to, given the slate of games this year, because they've had a really good year, you know, in terms of stuff. So, and on all of that still to come, you know, Splatoon 3 comes out next month, right? So, and then Bayonetta 3 the month after that, and then there's other stuff as well.
Nintendo had actually a pretty good year this year,
really good. I mean, kind of gone under the radar, actually.
Have they got anything left to show for this year at least? Because they've had the Pokemon Direct. The Pokemon Company had their showcase, and they had the Xenoblade Chronicles one. They've had Splatoon. What else? I guess really what we're waiting for is, you know, when they're going to show Breath of the Wild 2. Again, we would have expected that at an E3 style, but then obviously that was delayed. So
that would be another dedicated direct there, I think, when it like the Splatoon one and all that.
Yeah, I guess would it almost be a re-reveal at this point for Breath of the Wild?
I think so.
It's been that long. They haven't even revealed the name of the game, so I kind of expect that to be like the closing of another direct, whether that be a main direct or whatever, and then later they'll have their own Breath of the Wild 2 dedicated direct where they go into a little bit more depth, possibly a little closer to launch.
Yeah, I agree. I think, there were rumors about the Metroid Prime remaster coming out this year, or slated for this year. I guess it's possible we could still see that, although given the timing, I'd be quite surprised at this point. And they've got a lot of stuff if you think about it, like a lot of teams working on stuff. But I think they might just be happy just to see out this year, just doing their individual little directs for other games, or like third party publisher directs, or indie worlds or stuff like that. I just don't see them doing one at this point, like a big blowout direct. I think they'll wait until next year for that. Which is where you would get like your Breath of the Wild 2 re-reveal and some other big stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like you
Nintendo
said,
are
I
a bit
think
of a
like a
lockout.
lot of developers are actually sitting 2022 out now at this point.
Yeah.
There's really not much competition going on from other publishers, and there's just obviously a lot of stuff that didn't hit this year, and so you really don't have to have like this massive blowout this year. You just don't. Next year is a completely different story, though. I feel like next year is gonna be one year that is too crowded, actually. And we will see. But 2023, that's a very, very crowded year,
Yeah.
to say the least. Yeah.
I mean, we just had the delay for Hogwarts Legacy. I think you were looking forward to that as well, weren't you, Boxberger?
Yeah.
You were quite excited for that.
Actually, yeah. I was kind of disappointed about that. Honestly, I know we all expected it to some degree, because like every game that hasn't gotten a release date by now is probably gonna get a delay. Yeah, so it didn't come as a surprise, but I'm missing this this one big blockbuster that is gonna keep me busy through the holidays. I know there are a couple of games coming out, but most of them are like shorter games. A Plague Tale is a 10-15 hour game. Yeah. High on Life also 10 to 15 hours. And I know people always tell me about their backlog, but if I'm completely honest with you guys, I don't really have a big backlog. Like the games that are in my backlog right now, they are in there for a reason. I never had the urge to start them, and that also tells you something about that game. Or those games. So you know what I mean. It's
I know what you. I do know what you mean, because I guess everyone's always wanted something shiny and new to play. Regardless, your backlog could be 150 games long, but if or when, as an example, God of War comes out later this year, you're going to play that immediately, and
absolutely,
your backlog will stay as your backlog. So
2 weeks later, I'll be done. That's the thing, you know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead, Karen.
Yeah. So, and usually we have these big RPGs that take you like 100 hours or so. Yeah, and they are gonna keep you busy for a while, and that's what's missing this year, for sure. So.
Yeah. I mean, on the Xbox front, if you're a fan of JRPGs, there's a couple of what I expect to be meaty games coming to Xbox. I don't know if that's your jam, Boxenberger, but we got Soul Hackers 2 coming out later this month. I'm looking forward to that, and then Persona 5 obviously is coming to Game Pass in October or something. So, they're two meaty games, to say the least, that I think will keep people busy if you're into that style. I know a lot of people aren't maybe that big on that style of game.
Yeah. Well, I like JRPGs, I do, but not all of them. There are really good ones and there are really bad ones. So with JRPGs, I'm always usually having mixed feelings. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know yet. But I feel like 2022 is gonna be empty for me, at least towards the end. So when we're talking Christmas break, yeah, I'm not sure if there's gonna be much for me, to be honest.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's some surprises. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No, I kind of feel the opposite actually. For
I
me,
was just gonna say,
yeah, like
I feel exactly the
I think,
same. Yeah, opposite.
yeah, I think already, like for me, it's been a really great year. There's been a lot of really great stuff, but I get that now. I mean, not so much now in August, but maybe June-ish. There's always a bit of a lull. It's kind of the summer down gaming period, so there wasn't a huge amount then, but there was still stuff that kept me busy. Then, like, I look to the rest of the year and, like, you know, there's a ton of games for me that I'm really interested, like Cult of the Lamb, which is just released. We'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
Rollerdrome is coming out this month, which looks great. And then, like, in terms of big games, you know, obviously God of War, Last of Us Part 1 remake. That's controversial, I know, but, like, for me, I'm really excited about that. Splatoon 3, I'll put tons of hours into that. I'll put tons and tons of hours into it. Bayonetta 3, obviously that's probably going to be quite a short game, but that's fine. Like, I'm not in a place where I really need a 100-hour game at this point. In fact, the opposite, you know, like the shorter the better almost. Overwatch 2 is coming out in October, early access, so again, I'll put loads of time into that. Callisto Protocol, you know, there's tons of other indies coming out this year as well. So I think it's still pretty stacked, even with the big AAA delays. You know, I might even
coming out this month as well.
That got delayed. Like Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that's coming. Curse to Golf, Tinykin. I think that's still. Those are all still coming out this year.
Yeah, Tiny's here as well.
Yeah, Tiny's here. Yeah. I think there's a lot of good stuff, but I think this is like. I think for a lot of people, the thing I find, and not you, Archimedes, but I think the thing I find with some people that say that is they just tend to play one platform or kind of restrict themselves as to the games they play. So I think your perspective is that you want something like you really wanted something like Starfield to come out this year to be like
that's the impression I get. You really
I want that kind of game. I want a Starfield. I want a Harry Potter. I want. One of these big shiny games, and the only one that is coming out this year is God of War Ragnarok. Super excited for that, but that's like a week. And after I have a Plague Tale, it's a week. High on Life is a week. And if I put like the games I'm really excited about, they are gonna keep me busy for a good month or so. Then that's it. And especially during the Christmas break and so on, I have an increased demand of game time, you know.
It's like your peak for gaming.
So, and that's just missing this year. Usually, the Christmas time is the time where I clean out the small backlog that I have, which is basically the games I didn't get to play that released over the year. And I just... this year it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna have like I actually have the feeling like for the first time in a very, very long time, I mean like 20 years or so, I'm kind of running out of games to play. And and it's not because I'm limiting myself, but because I play a lot, of course, and there's just not much coming anymore. At least I want to play.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Indy, what I know you kind of go to my side more than anything, and obviously I think if you look at the year as it's been and as it will be for the rest of the year for indie games, it's actually been a fantastic
awesome
year. Yeah, really good.
Definitely, it's been an amazing year for sure. And for me, I just like everyone's entitled to their own view, and everyone has their own particular game that they play, whatever it might be. But for me, I feel like I'm always trying to catch up with I can never play all of the games that I want to play. Essentially, there's so many awesome releases coming all the time. Like just August alone has got a massive amount in just this month. It's just impossible to get to all of them. Like Midnight Fight Express, Cult of the Lamb, as we just we reeled off like Rollerdrome, loads and loads coming this month. Tinykin, I won't go into all of them and bore you, but like it's a crazy amount in 1 month. and that's just 1 month, if you see what I'm saying. So yeah, but for me, like, yeah, I was spoilt for it all, in my opinion. But yeah, like Cult of the Lamb's been one of the games I've been looking forward to all year. I highly recommend checking that out, Boxenberger. If you like Hades, then definitely check it out. It's got an extra element to it. We'll get into the main talk about that in a minute, so I won't go into it. But yeah, it's an awesome game. But yeah, highly recommended. And yeah, for me, like, it's just impossible to ever keep up with it all, to be honest. But I know what you're saying. You want a sort of meaty AAA and things like that.
See, the thing, I know you're super into indies, and it's not that I don't play indies. On the contrary. But like, after I play 3 indie games, I need a big shiny blockbuster. It's just, and I need that, and I don't get that this year, and that's it's kind of a bummer. So
what about Gotham Knights?
Oh yeah,
because that's
but I have a very strong feeling that this is gonna get delayed as well. Because
it looks like
exactly.
It needs one. To be fair.
Yeah. And I'm all pro delays. It's just like, I also feel kind of bad for the developers next year, because next year is too crowded, and I have no doubt that a lot of fantastic games are just gonna get buried next year. Like, you guys mentioned earlier, Benedict Fox. This is a perfect example. That's a game where I have no doubt that this is gonna get buried next year. In between all these major AAA releases, a game like that just won't stand a chance. When you have like a Starfield and a Diablo and all these kind of games coming at the very same time, Suicide Squad and so. Yeah, I know games need delays, but it's also like especially the smaller games that don't have a name attached to them, like a Harry Potter. They will definitely have a problem next year.
I mean, but there's going to be delays next year as well, Boxenberger, no doubt. Some of the games that are currently scheduled, even some of the games that have been delayed from this year, may be delayed further. Games quite regularly get 2 or 3 delays. So it's very possible that some of the games that are scheduled for early in 2023 are late, and then maybe some of the games that are late 2023 end up getting pushed into 2024. Yeah. I know. Out of interest, Boxenberger, what was your big meaty game last Christmas?
What was it last Christmas? Halo was definitely the big and Age of Empires 4. I just started playing that at that time. So yeah, what else? I'm missing one. I'm blanking on it right now. Sorry.
But yeah, you had a couple at least at last
I had a
year,
couple
so
of games.
That's what you're missing.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, well, I think that probably takes us nicely a little bit onto Luke and Indies, one of your most anticipated releases of the year, Luke. I know you've been playing it on your shiny Steam Deck, which will not make Mr. Indie Gamer jealous at all, I suppose. We did see a couple of requests for you to flash it up on cam. Luke, I don't know if you saw that.
I don't actually have it with me. It's in another room right now. It's got its own room
possession
now.
Look in while we're in the
yeah. I actually got a nice little dock for it, as in not just a display dock, so it kind of just sits there at the moment waiting.
Yeah.
Cult of the Lamb, and I think it seems to have launched to really great critical reception. I think as well, just in the Twitter sphere bubble, everybody seems really positive on it. I've only played a couple of hours, so I kind of just got a bit past the demo area essentially. But yeah, I mean, it's a really great game, just from those couple of hours, and I think it's such a cool game because it's almost kind of 2 games in one. It's kind of doing 2 different things. So, and I think this is what really makes it quite unique and quite enjoyable, because you have essentially kind of a dungeon crawler roguelite type game on the one hand, it's heavily action-based. And then on the other hand, there's kind of this like almost Animal Crossing-esque town building sim, which is essentially building your cult. And the two kind of interweave, and you can do things in one and not do things in the other, and you can kind of go back and forth and kind of see how much you want to balance those two or not. So I think that's, funnily enough, it's kind of one of those meaty games. You know, I don't think it's going to last 100 hours, but it's kind of one of those games that you could actually make last a long time, and I think it's really enjoyable for it. So I know, Indy, you've not had too much of a chance to play it. Have you played anything so far of it? Are you still waiting for it?
Yeah, no, I have. Like, it's been put on a bit slightly hold because of the old. As I say, I wasn't been feeling too good. But I played today. Pretty similar to the amount you've played, really. So yeah, a few hours worth, and yeah, a bit beyond the demos worth kind of thing. Definitely there were some interesting bits that got introduced after that I thought was really interesting and cool. I enjoyed, by the way, starting my cults, and also I've been naming them Luke, Scott and Boxenberger so far. So my people,
I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest. I don't know if I should be offended or I should be pleased.
No, it's all good. It's funny watching you guys walking around working for me. It's pleasurable.
So you just made us your little bitches in your cult too.
Exactly, yeah. So it's great, as Luke alluded to, you know, that area of the game with the Animal Crossing style thing where you're building your cult. You've got like a settlement, and you build up like a temple, and you have to get people to sort of like chop down trees for you, and you have to cook dinners and stuff for people to keep them happy and stuff like that. And that bit of the game is actually really well done, in my opinion. Both bits are actually really well done as well. The combat elements are really super slick as well, as Luke, I'm sure, will have tested out both sides of it. But you know, for me, I don't play a lot of those styles of games where I'm building, you know, settlements and stuff like that, and Animal Crossing style games. They're not really my usual. So like Stardew Valley or whatever. Yeah, so it's actually, I'm really enjoying that part of it. I really quite like that, and it's maybe going to introduce me to play more of those styles of games as well, if you see what I mean. I think it's a nice thing, like Luke said, it is two games in one. You definitely feel like there is quite a big element where you are building that side of it. Some cool things where you have to sort of like I say, keep your people happy, but at the same time you do these like sermons and stuff, and sort of like take them into this like altar and instill them with like you know, basically zhuzh them up, get them all like psychopathic, I guess, and get them to basically worship you. And like I say, I'm only a couple hours in, but it's all about building that up, making the cult bigger and bigger, and the more you do that, you get points and things called divine worship, and you can then apply that to your abilities as well. So when you go out and take on the bosses or whatever it is, you're getting more and more sort of like ability points and like health points and stuff like that. So yeah, just a very well balanced game. These roguelikes and roguelites are, you know, sort of live or die by the whole balancing of all the different aspects to it, and it feels like it's super well balanced, and they feel very satisfying. I always say satisfaction in these types of games where you're getting different currencies, building up the cult or building up whatever it is in that type of game. It feels just right, and it feels super slick to do the combat, and it feels very satisfying building the settlement area too. So yeah, really loving it actually.
Yeah, I guess with games that maybe go between a couple of genres in DS, there's sometimes maybe a fear that one of them is maybe a little bit underwhelming, or maybe sometimes both of them are maybe just average, or maybe less so because they've had to kind of balance between the two genres. I assume that's not the case here. It sounds like they've kind of nailed both elements.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt, like I say, only a little bit in. I'm definitely going to be playing more later. But yeah, like it definitely feels like they're nailing both. And like I say, it's almost surprised me how much I'm loving that side of it, which I thought I was just going to be all about the combat and wanting to get out and just fight all the time, which is absolutely awesome. But the most time I've spent so far is actually in in the camp, basically building it up so far. And it's just fun chopping down the trees, getting people to do it for you, like getting Luke to cook a dinner for me is nice. All that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, it's just good. And you can get them to worship the altar thing or something. I can't remember. I only just set that stuff up where I've purchased new things. But you, like I say, I don't know how far you've got with regards to that, Luke. Have you built your like altar bit where you can walk inside it and then do a sermon? Have you done that in yours?
You muted there, Luke, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Oh, okay, cool. That bit's super fun. You're gonna love that. It's like I was saying, you obviously get the get your abilities through that, and it seems very like symbiotic between the two different parts of the game. So you're sort of really powering up Fry doing all that stuff, so you can then go out and be more of a beefy fighter in the other side of the game, where you go out to then take on the bosses and stuff like that. I've taken down one boss so far. It actually feels quite so far a little bit easy, maybe. There is difficulty settings in this game, by the way, which is quite unusual for roguelikes. You can choose I think it's easy, medium, hard, or the top one I think might be unlocked after you complete it potentially. I chose medium actually, but I might actually push that up to hard, because at the moment I didn't take any damage, I don't think, at all on my first run essentially, but before I pop back to camp. I don't know about yourself, Luke. Do you find it quite straightforward on the combat side of things, or?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not like super challenging or anything like that.
Yeah,
not that it needs to be, but
no, exactly. And we're only to be honest, I have played the demo and then played that bit again, so it might make it a bit easier in that sense, to be honest. So, but yeah, I might bump it up to the old hard and see. But yeah, it's super well done. The art style is absolutely stunning. The music's wonderful. It's got so much charm to it. All the characters is great. You can customize your characters as well. So what you'll do is you'll sort of recruit these characters, and it's one of the ones is where I beat the boss, and then it's a massive boss, and then it turns into a little cute sort of character basically, and he's all like, oh, don't kill me and all this stuff. You know what I mean? After he's been a big boss, after you've taken him down, and then he says please don't kill me, I will abide by your cult or whatever, and you take him back then to the other part of the world, and then you get to customize them once you've done that too, and choose the colors and different looks. So I tried to make Luke look like a cat as much as possible.
Nice.
Just because I know you like cats. But yeah, no, it's just cool. I like that side of it. Like I said, I didn't think I would be enjoying that part of the game as much as I am. But it's very fun, and it's a bit like Spiritfarer almost. Have you played these sort of those elements in Spiritfarer where you're doing the cooking and you're doing the chopping and then building, sort of growing the plants and all that sort of stuff to cook with? It feels a bit like that, the way it's that satisfying to do. I think it's well done in that game as well.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's actually. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, go for it, Luke.
I was just going to say, I think actually one of the things that I compared it to in my own head, and it's not quite like this, but the flow of the game is quite similar, and the kind of addictive nature of it for me is actually something like XCOM.
Wow, right.
Where you've got these two disparate modes almost, but they're interlinking, and it's really fun doing both of them, whether you're in XCOM you're either at the command base building that up using resource, or you're on the field doing all the combat stuff. It's the same thing here, just in a different way. I have a lot of fun. And actually, I just got this for you, just Indie. Here we go. Get it in there.
Oh, so that's where you bought.
Get it in there.
nice. And just that menu screen alone. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I loved it. Love it. Mine will hopefully be here soon before I get. Everyone seems to be getting one, as we said before. It's just my one's still on pre-order. But there we go. But that menu screen alone is just stunning, isn't it? I know it sounds weird, but it just looks beautiful, doesn't it? The game.
Yeah, I mean, I played the demo on Steam. Yeah, and the one thing that I remember from that demo was just how it looked. I remember Luke specifically saying that the colors pop. This was before I played it, and then when I played it, I really understood what he meant, because even on my monitor, which isn't fancy, it's not HDR or anything like that, like the colors in particular did really pop. So I've not picked it up yet. I hope to maybe pick that up a little bit later this year, but kind of going back to earlier conversation, my backlog's like maybe too big, where it's kind of like I don't really want to add to it. I was really wanted to pick up Spider-Man on PC this past week, but I've got God of War, I've got Final Fantasy VII Remake still, I've got Horizon still to play. That I thought, I'm not adding any more to that backlog, so maybe a bit later for that.
Awesome. Yeah, it should definitely. Honestly, I think I'm really gonna grow to love it. I mean, I'm already loving it, but like I want to try and figure out just how epic it really is, if you see what I mean. Like, because this has got potential to be definitely in the Game of the Year conversation, at least on Indie Game of the Year, but I think potentially, or even maybe overall. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how Luke feels about that, but I definitely think for the Indie Game of the Year, it could be that.
Yeah, Boxenberger, is this a game that you were maybe interested in checking out, mate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have it on my playlist. However, I need to overcome my addiction of Age of Empires first. So no, but I actually have it on my radar, and it looks fantastic. Can't wait to check it out.
Nice.
Yeah. If you like, obviously, like Age of Empires, building the bases and all that sort of stuff, you'll probably really love the element that the game has in it, with that style of thing. And then you've got the Hades mixed in there too, basically, which is just a great combination.
Which is always good, and you know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, if you're going to sell a game to Boxenberger and you call it Age of Empires mixed with Hades, it's quite an unusual combination, but you've got
you got me.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's cool. Like I haven't played a game like that for so long. Like I say, it felt like I was back playing Command and Conquer, when you like build, you get it built, and then you sort of like move it where you want it on the grid, and it turns green where you can place it, and it's red. That kind of thing, where you choose to put your structure and all that sort of stuff. It just reminded me when I was playing Command and Conquer some back in the day.
So, Indy, what animal is Boxenberger?
I don't know what he is. He's actually the weirdest looking one, actually. Sorry about that. Because I wanted everyone to have a unique look, and that was the only other option.
I don't know whether I should take it as a compliment or...
No, you're individual and unique. So you're like, I think you're green or something, and you've got a bit of brain poking through, so... But yeah, no, it's cool. Just like you walk up to them, you can have a look, and their name pops up, the one. I'm going to carry on naming them from people in the community, I think. It's going to be fun. Like, at the moment, I've only got 3 in the cart, which is not very big, obviously. But I think the more you obviously play it, you're going to grow and grow. I just can't wait to see how it sort of scales up and stuff. Yeah, it's just a very interesting game with so much character. Excited to play more of it. But yeah, I want to get out and obviously take on some more bosses as well, but sometimes you feel like you just want to look after the cult, and because obviously if there's things like if you don't look after them, they can die, and then that can have a bad effect over the rest of the cult and stuff like that. And if they die, you have to bury them and stuff, if you see what I mean, and then that can stop disease spreading and stuff. There's little things like that. But yeah, and obviously feeding them. I fed Luke a little meal, and straight away did a crap. So is that indicative of usual behaviour, Luke?
Yeah, it's just in real life. It's typical what I'm
Yeah, literally. He ate it, he did a funny face, and straight away left a pile on the floor for me. So that was lovely.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are going out for some food when you meet the EGX, just make sure there's a toilet nearby.
Definitely a good plan. Good stuff. It's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, looking forward to checking that out eventually, hopefully. But it's one of those things where I'm kind of opposite of Boxenberger, a little bit like you guys, where it's kind of like everything I've almost got too much, and then kind of go through phases where I can't really be asked to play a single player game. So I play multiplayer games a lot, and that often sidetracks me a bit. I've been playing, as you can see on the footage, I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves recently since the last season came out. I'm really enjoying that. So
awesome.
Yeah, Luke, do we have a special segment this week, bearing in mind who we've got on the show?
I don't know what you're talking about.
you know which special segment you introduced a couple of weeks ago.
Special sauce.
Special sauce. The special
so you
sauce
guys doing
segment.
the sauce as well here.
Yeah. That's the rated R segment. No, I do not have a PCMR segment. I wish I did. But the PC gaming news world is just not it's not that interesting most of the time. So no, nothing. We're still waiting for the 4000 series, I think, from Nvidia. Should be very soon, actually. So when that happens, there will be a dedicated PCMR segment to tell you that your electricity bills are about to get even higher when you're doing one of these things. So,
That's good.
We'll have to keep that in mind for a future show. Yeah, we might have to get Boxenberger and Indie back on for that one as well.
That's good.
Yeah. Did we want to touch on the whole... Dare we touch on the whole Xbox, PlayStation, Brazil regulator things? Boxberg, I know you covered it on your show on Thursday. It's all a bit of a mess. Everything's been taken too far, but I think it's worthwhile at least, I guess, touching on it before we wrap up the show. So, look, as obviously the resident legal expert on the show. Can you recall exactly what's gone on? What shitstorms come up because of the Brazilian regulators this past week?
I think vaguely. No, I'm again sorry because I'm not as up to date on this as maybe Boxenberger is, having covered it. But from what I've seen, again, there's just been responses. I think from Microsoft at this point earlier in the week, or it might have been late last week. To the Brazilian regulator about specifically in respect of third parties' opinions given to the regulator, although in particular, obviously, in relation to Sony's opinion. And I think, Microsoft's, and correct me if I'm wrong, Boxenberg, but I think Microsoft's the general gist of what they've been saying is that things about Sony's business mechanics, let's say, in terms of what they're doing in the industry, exclusive games, which is obviously one of the things that Sony touched on themselves. I think the most the most salacious / not salacious element come out of this for different reasons was the bit about Microsoft talked about Sony paying publishers, developers for what they term blocking rights. So effectively, Sony saying, don't put X game on Game Pass or a competing subscription service. And I guess there's been a lot of talk about that. I've got my own opinions on it. I don't know, Boxenberger, what I know you covered it. So what's kind of been your view of it all? I think at this point, I'm getting slightly sick of it, just overall, but it's still interesting.
We all want this. I think we all want this to be over. Now, no, I think honestly, like, I really don't touch on these whole console war things, but sometimes there is just stuff happening where I have to say, well, I just don't get it. And this was one of these things where I just didn't get Sony. I get competition, and I get that they are in a competitive market, and that they want to do their business. But there were just so many things, wrong about this entire thing. So to me, it is like, well, if you have Sony was like for many years like, oh, we don't believe in subscription service. We don't think that there's value in that. We don't think people want to play old games. All these kind of things they've touched on, and now we're seeing that Sony started this generation as with by increasing the game prices, which is something I don't want any company to be able to do that. To be honest, you have the market cap to actually to increase like the game prices at the beginning of a generation, and now this entire thing comes down to, well, the discussion of value, and I just don't see that Sony is trying to provide their customers more value at the moment. They rather try to provide like exclusive content, but I don't have a benefit from exclusive content. So me as a gamer, I just don't have that. And that's where it comes down to right now. Sony is obviously trying to lock stuff behind a paywall, and they are not trying to make their platform of service like more valuable for the customers. That's not what they are doing. They're just trying to lock other content off, and I think that doesn't look good for them. It just doesn't shine a good light on them and their business practices. And well, that's basically the entire conversation of their Western. Like, who provides value to customers and who tries to lock.
Sorry, Boxenberger, mate. You're cutting in a little bit, cutting in and out a little bit there, mate. I'm not too sure why. It's like you keep going underwater. Yeah. So you're ducking, you're going for some, you're doing some breaststroke while you're podcasting.
Fanboy fishing.
That's what you're doing. So yeah, weird. No idea.
It's okay right now.
I was going to say it's a bit better there.
Okay. Yeah. So it's an interesting conversation to have, because it all comes down to, well, how do you want to lure new customers into your ecosystem? And that's just a fundamental difference right now in between the different platform holders. And I think like that's why this is such an interesting conversation to have. But yeah. At the end of this week, I don't think that Sony was aware that this could be such a big backlash for them, because it was really like everyone was complaining about this, and that's interesting to see to me, because it just tells the story of how these two companies approach this generation, and we see a fundamental difference there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of what the specifics of this week, and you raised an interesting point, Boxenberger, is I guess the whole argument over the past couple of weeks has been essentially the subject of Game Pass. Originally, Sony came out and said that it would take years and such a significant financial investment for a competing service. I think they specifically referenced Brazil, where Xbox have approximately 70-80% of the market due to Game Pass already. And Microsoft's response was essentially, so what? More or less. They obviously spoke about how Sony were the only company who had sort of negative responses to it. Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, of course they are. They also spoke to Google, Amazon, Ubisoft. None of them are necessarily going to care. It doesn't impact them realistically. Obviously Sony are going to care. I don't think there's any surprises there.
They are the direct competitor. It's other platform holders would probably have also kind of like these stronger feelings about this. I agree there, of course.
Yeah. And I guess the main thing that's been spoken about this past week has been Microsoft's sort of response regarding how Sony have previously kept content off other consoles, which is, I guess, Sony's point. No, if Microsoft own Activision Blizzard, obviously they refer to Call of Duty being like a gaming category, by itself, then that obviously wouldn't be good for competition, which I think they've got every right to say. But then, Microsoft quite rightly responded that, Sony have kept content off other platforms, and I believe they specifically referenced Final Fantasy VII Remake in one of the documents. A lot of it was redacted, and then in the most recent revelations, which to be fair wasn't a revelation, we've known this since the Capcom leaks, the big explosive argument, dare I say, and where everyone's been saying Microsoft fires back and Sony it's a fucking fight or something. Is the fact that they claim that Sony basically pays to keep content off Game Pass, and I guess
and that was actually revealed this week. They claimed that, and then a couple of contracts with third-party publishers actually leaked this week.
Well, it previously leaked. It leaked a while back. Boxenberger.
It was the Village contract, wasn't it? Yeah.
So the big Capcom leaks last year, I think that was now, wasn't it, Luke? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was last year.
And it was a kind of a big talking point then, because one of the points is, look, if we've got this marketing rights with you, you cannot put your game on a competing subscription service for the next 12 months. And there's more in there where if they did get an offer from, obviously they were referring to Game Pass, but obviously it was vague, that Sony essentially had first refusal, so they would have to go to Sony and say, look, we've had this offer from Microsoft, do you want to match it? And then they could they could match it. I think at the time a lot of people were just like, I guess that's just a standard marketing contract, the publisher doesn't have to agree to it. If they don't want to, they're happy to take Sony's money from a marketing perspective. So it did seem to me to get blown way out of proportion this past week, and used, unfortunately, a lot for just the console wars, which is a bit of a shame. But look, I know you've got thoughts, mate. I know you're getting a bit sick of it, but I know you've got thoughts as well, mate. So where do you land on this one at the minute?
I mean, I think it's I am getting a bit sick of it. I do think it's still interesting because it's so rare that you see this come out in public. This kind of regulatory back and forth of interested parties in a competition, not disputes as such, but in a competition process where they are, consulted. And in the EU and the UK, you have this process of kind of an open consultation period. But the difference being with the Brazilian regulator, it's for whatever reason, and maybe a good reason actually, they publish all this consultation stuff. So anything that they get in, they show you what it is, which is cool. I said this the other week when we talked about it, but I guess if you're an interested party in the Activision Blizzard Microsoft merger, like Sony are, in the sense of they are essentially Microsoft's biggest platform holder competitor, of course you're going to have a negative slant on this. It would be frankly astonishing if you didn't, if you just wrote back, and bear in mind that the Brazilian regulator went out and asked very specific questions of everyone. Every interested party, whether it's Ubisoft or Sony or whomever, had the same questions asked. They've provided responses to that. And obviously Sony were the most negative because of course they're going to be. You're not going to say, everything's hunky-dory, we're really happy with it. Obviously not. And I think what people don't realize is that when you're going into a competition process and you're speaking to regulators, one of the most important things you have to do is kind of define the market that you think there's a competition concern in, because it's on the parties that are part of the competition, the merger itself, that actually have to go and figure out what is the market. And I think Sony's response was to try and, again, obviously, define the market in very specific terms to make that look unfavorable to Microsoft. And of course, Microsoft's, responses to that were to say, oh no, the real market, the market is just games, all games compete for engagement, for players, etc. So, and that's kind of standard stuff you would do in that process. Like it's not particularly salacious or unusual. And I guess, the weird thing this week for me has been all the stuff about the blocking rights stuff, because as people have said, that was known from the Village contract that leaked. And it's such a standard marketing commercial contract provision. It astonishes me that people sit there and go, this. I've seen people literally say, I think I replied to one of them on Twitter, this is illegal.
That was a mistake.
Yeah. This is illegal. Yeah. Well, that's we'll see what happens. But this sort of stuff is illegal. No, it's not. Like I get, like, if you wanna lambast Sony's arguments, in terms of what they're saying, and bear in mind they didn't, they never said we don't think the merger should go ahead. They just answered the questions that they were given. If you want to lambast their position on stuff, I think that's totally fine, because you can disagree with how they define a market or what they think should be done, or X, Y, and Z, and similarly for Microsoft. But I think then when people are like digging into these contracts and see standard commercial provisions and go, oh, this must, this is illegal, this is really bad, it's anti-consumer. No, it's not. Not at all. It's two businesses. Remember that Capcom are a party to this. It's not a unilateral contract. It's not as if Sony have gone, here you go, sign that, and Capcom have gone, oh, of course, Sony. Like, it's, these are things that are really common across all right of refusal clauses, for example, which is this whole kind of controversial one, this blocking rights term in a publishing or marketing contract. It's really common across different industries, not just gaming. So I think what I'm getting sick of at the moment is, the kind of weird responses that people have, or the weird emotional engagement that people have with this stuff. You shouldn't be emotionally invested in this at all. If you want to discuss it, that's fine. And if you want to defer to people who have, like, and I'm not, bigging my own ego up here, but like have experience with this stuff and say, what do you think about this? What's your view? Or like me, Hoglaw, or other people, I think that's really great. It's when people then, just think that X means Y when they have no idea what it means, or they don't really know anything about this, but they're having an emotional kind of fanboy response to this stuff. So I think those are my thoughts on it. It'd be great when this is all over, to be honest, because it's just getting tiring watching the mental gymnastics that people go through to defend one platform holder or another, or insult one platform holder or another. Yeah. When people shouldn't really care about this, because ultimately, what I find the most ironic thing about all of this is none of this will make any difference to the merger. It will go through. Like, there is no question about that. It's going to go straight. Like, it doesn't make a difference whether you don't have to go out and bash Sony to think that that's going to help the merger go through, or that there needs to be some information out there to help that. You don't need to do that. Yeah. It will happen anyway. And likewise, if you're on the other side, nothing you say is going to make any difference. So shut up. So that's not like, talk about it and have an interesting debate about it, but just don't have an emotional, weird fanboy response. I think that's my main message.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, Luke. Going back to one of the earlier points that you mentioned, which is obviously it was interesting that this stuff was made public. I agree to an extent that it's interesting that this sort of thing is available to the public, because the gaming industry is so secretive in general. So getting a peek behind the curtain in any aspect of the industry is often interesting. But the consequence of that is you effectively get the idiots who then take it and start using it for arguments or fanboy wars or whatever. And I said this when the initial responses came back when this kind of first started becoming public. Just remember, this is $1 trillion company versus $1 billion company, or a multi-billion dollar company, fighting over money. Like, effectively is what it comes down to. Sony don't necessarily want to run the risk of losing a significant financial revenue stream, and Microsoft obviously want to become a stronger player in the market, so they can earn more money. That's what it comes down to. So, I think you're right to say try not to become too emotionally invested in these sorts of things, because it's just a bloody games console at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So chill out. It's not like we're talking about in the UK we're going to have a new prime minister in a month. That shit's real. That shit's going to impact people every single day of their lives until the next general election. This is just a box you put onto your TV to play games. And I know that's maybe a bit flippant to say almost in a way, because here we are on a gaming podcast talking about it. We obviously take this stuff seriously and we obviously are passionate about it, but there's a limit to how far you should take those things, and you should always remember who these companies are when taking a side in this sort of thing. So
yeah, I think that people need to remember, stripping everything away, this is a hobby. You should not have this kind of emotional response to a hobby. If you do, you have bigger problems than Microsoft and Activision Blizzard's merger. You've got significant problems in your own life if you're taking a hobby this seriously. Like, by all means, look, we engage on it and we speak about it and we're passionate about it, and that's great. But we don't go out and insulting others or just being complete weirdos. Maybe in different aspects of life, but certainly not this one. We don't do that, and unfortunately there are podcasts out there that do this and that just talk about this all the time and have these weird responses, or tweet people on Twitter, like execs or Jeff Keighley, or and not specifically about this thing, but just other stuff.
Yeah. I hate when people tag like Phil Spencer about something, like they go straight to him, or something. It's just a cringe fest.
Or then go into weird conspiracy theories about all sorts of different stuff. Like, I think that's just weird, and sadly more and more people seem to do it, or at least they seem to come across my fucking timeline. So I think that's, to me, why this thing is frustrating, because it puts stuff into the public domain that is really kind of common sense, but it's not taken as that. It's taken as this kind of ongoing epic Game of Thrones level war between two companies that really don't know who you are and don't particularly care. So just stop engaging with it on that basis. Stop, treat your hobby like a hobby.
Yeah, and it's all right to have a side in it. I personally would like it to go through only because I want Diablo to go on Game Pass.
Exactly.
Not for any other reason. As a Game Pass subscriber, I will benefit from that acquisition. So of course I want more for my money. But as a PlayStation owner, I think it's fairly understandable that you'd be worried that future Blizzard or Activision games won't be on your platform. That's fine. That's normal. But it's when it's taken too far, when and I guess that's just Twitter in general, isn't it? So
that's a lot of the fanboys in general. Honestly, we've seen that with the entire console war discussions over the years. People just take it way too far. But I find it interesting you brought up that argument about Diablo coming to Game Pass, and seeing that's what I meant about value. And it coming, the entire discussion comes back to how do these companies provide us value as a customer? And I'm always saying, we need, if you look at this, you need to take off obviously the fanboy goggles, but also you have to look at this as you are the customer of these companies. Yeah, you spend like a lot of money of yours onto their services, onto their games, onto their ecosystem, and so if you try to look at stuff like not from a fanboy but from a customer perspective, a lot of the stuff makes sense. And but you're absolutely right, the blind nonsense that we see from some of the fanboys is just ridiculous.
Yeah And I think it tends, like, for me as well, I find it more weird from people who have both consoles.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't get why people are so like, because I take your point entirely. I think, you know, you might come from a perspective where you have both consoles, for example.
Yeah.
And you're like, Game Pass is amazing. I love Game Pass. I wish there was something similar, like in terms of day and date, all that kind of stuff on PlayStation. And I think that's an entirely fine criticism to have. I mean, that, you know, it's of course, why wouldn't someone want that? I mean, you know, if Sony could give you every game that they make anyway as normal, but have it on a subscription service, of course, you know, everybody would want that. Like, the practical realities of that might be very difficult for Sony. Obviously, not Microsoft, because they can just pump money into it non-stop and they don't really care. Yeah. But I do find it strange when people like have both consoles and they have the best of both worlds, and yet they're still kind of super favorable fanboyish towards one console in particular, and then kind of there's these jibes that come out and snidey comments, and fundamentally I don't get that mentality. But I do think it's fine to engage with like genuine criticism of our company and just go, you know, I wish X would have Y. That's absolutely fine. It's just when it goes to this weird level.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Indy, do you have any particular thoughts on the whole thing? I kind of get the sense that you're the guy that maybe just doesn't give a shit and wants them both to shut up and just get on with it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Probably. I mean, I don't understand it how, but somehow I've managed to not really see any of this on my Twitter feed. I don't know.
Look at you, man. I think
it's a good place to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't like really getting involved in any of this sort of stuff. Really, just my feed's full of great people most of the time. I never really see any crap on my. I hear people slagging off Twitter all the time where they see shit on there and that, but somehow I seem to see a lot of positivity on mine. Great people like yourselves, and also like I follow a lot of indie devs and stuff, so it's full of all that sort of thing. So maybe that helps me keep it positive on there. But yeah, I mean, you know, I can't trump anything what you've just said anyway. You've got great takes. Luke's obviously super knowledgeable and knows the inside knowledge on it, but you've all been fantastic on it, so I'll just say Fanboy Wars is not for me to chime in on, really. Yeah, so apologies. I'll just leave it at that if that's all right.
I think that's a great way to end it, to be fair. More people should be like that, shouldn't they? Yeah, I think the problem is Luke mentioned it, is even if you try to escape it, sometimes it's hard. Like, when these things happen, it's actually a good time to have a little bit of a following on Twitter, but then you've got the retweets, or then you've got the YouTube thumbnails, and you know, I think the difficulty is in a lot of cases as well, you've got people who have, whether it be careers or part-time careers or, you know, significant investment, where they've unfortunately got to go down the clickbait route, you know, and there's been a few people who have used that language, and when you listen to what they're saying, it comes across a lot better, but they've got to use that sort of language because that's unfortunately the reality of getting clicks, views, and how the algorithm works. So
that's exactly,
which is a bit of a shame. But that's, you know, you could say that about any news cycle. That's not just games, that's anything in the world, unfortunately.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Yeah, it is a bit of a shame when people lower themselves to those tactics, but you know, and with clickbait and stuff or whatever it might be, or like, you know, hot topics and stuff, there is, you know, there's a right way to do it, and then there's a low way, and you know, there's a difference, if you know what I mean. Like, it's all right having a topic which you think people are going to engage with, and it's a great discussion, and a clickbait title or whatever it might be is a good thing as well. You know, some people think any clickbait is wrong, but like, you have to sort of entice people's interest, so nothing wrong with that. But like, when it's Fanboy Wars, that's just like, what's the easiest way to get any sort of interest? People are going to have arguments over, let's go with that, and then it's just lowering yourself, isn't it, to that level where you don't, you know, I know all of us hear about gaming in a wholesome way, and you know, we're not about that. We're about enjoying gaming and celebrating it. So yeah, it's just not our style, is it? So, but yeah, it's interesting to hear the points of you guys though on this particular topic, because it does frustrate me as well, but I just try and avoid it, if you know what I mean, in general. All that, and seems to be working all right at the moment. But yeah, anyway, sorry for there's no hot take from myself on that one though.
But I think it might be time, Indy, for your rendition of Smelly Cat. If you don't have a hot take, yeah, I'm expecting an acoustic guitar to start playing in the background.
Well, I was thinking I'll do the studio version instead and get it properly done. You know?
Yeah, get some production behind it rather than live and uncut.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. You never know, that might fall flat. So I thought I'd put the extra effort in, get the full band together. And I'll present it to Luke at EGX.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll do actually is I will play that song on like a little speaker, and then I will walk around with it, and then that's how you'll find me for the first time.
Oh, like a boombox.
Yeah, that would be like instead of me having a rose, so you can identify me. I'll carry the music.
I don't know.
That won't look weird at all, will it?
No. These are just reasons for me not to come to EGX now.
I was going to say, it sounds like I made the right decision and having to not go. So,
no, we've still got to get Scott on board. We've still got to make this happen.
Look, what you'll have to do, mate, is we'll have to set up like a safe word or something where you text me when Indy takes it too far and you need rescuing. So.
That won't take much.
Yeah. As soon as I land, I'll be spamming that.
Exactly.
Just get me back on the plane.
I'll be there waiting at the London airport for you with the sign.
The sign.
Yeah.
Babe. Well, I think we've pretty much done it. I think I don't think there's any additional topics we could probably highlight. Actually, I think we've covered quite a lot, and we'll give people back some time as well. So thank you, everyone. I know we've not done a whole lot of interaction in the chat today, which is probably our fault, but oh well. But thank you very much for joining in and watching. And Indy, thank you very much for being here. I know you're not feeling particularly well. I hope this time has made you feel slightly better. Surrounded amongst friends and people who like indie games, which is always nice. So thank you very much. And look, I mean, I'll do this anyway because it's the thing to do. But where can people, if they somehow don't know who you are, where can they follow you?
Cool, cheers buddy, it's been awesome hanging out with you guys, my favourite people. Been a lot of fun today. Even like I say, I was not been feeling too well, but definitely helped me feel better for sure. Great chatting with all of you guys. If you want to find myself and Luke often as well on my channel, and to be honest with you, everyone on this podcast right now turn up quite a lot too. Luke on the regular, and actually a little spoiler alert, Luke and myself are going to be making a little video on Cult of the Lamb 2 soon. So look out for that. If you're interested, feel free to go over to my channel. It's YouTube/The Indie Gamer, all one word. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's indie_gamer_01. And I will post there for when things are happening. We do have the Indie Games podcast and other stuff on the channel. As I say, we'll have a video as soon as possible. Once we've had a bit more time in the game, and we're going to record some chat about how we've felt about it. A little spoiler today of how we felt about it so far, though. But looking forward to that. But thank you so much again for having me. Thank you so much to the chat for joining us. Wonderful stuff. It was fun.
It was always great having you here. And Archimedes, Boxenberger, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always have a great time when you're here. Just
Absolutely. Extremely
knowledgeable, and we always seem to have a really good chat. So thank you very much again. People somehow don't know where you are, what you do. Let them know.
Well, people can find me everywhere. I'm the Boxenberger, so that's very easy. On PlayStation, Xbox, on Steam, everywhere. Of course, also on YouTube. I do have, in case people don't know, I do have a small YouTube channel there where I do weekly videos covering different topics of the gaming industry. So yeah, and again, thanks for having me, Indy. Get well soon. It's always a pleasure to hang with you guys. Thanks again for the invite.
You're most welcome. Yes, and we will let people know. I'm not sure if we're doing a Thursday show this week or whether it'll be another Sunday, but we'll try and let people know as soon as possible as to what's happening.
think the plan is currently, I guess actually I did want to quickly say, look, if you don't mind, is obviously we've had some excellent guests on the show today. Thank you very much. We had Boxenberger Gamer on last week. Next week, I think the current plan is to go live on Thursday, and we should, if all going to plan, we've got Ains from Season Gaming on the show, so looking forward to him. If anything, just to finally have it out with him about the arse kicking he gave us in that Halo tournament last year. And then we do have, I believe, Stubbs Gaming's going to be joining us on the show in the future. So
good stuff.
Been a long time coming. So I was just going to say, if anyone does want to come on the show, please reach out, get us on Discord, or message me, Pucks, or Luke on Twitter. Or if you've got anyone that you would like to join us on the show, you think would be a great guest, then please just let us know on the podcast suggestions channel on their Discord if you don't mind. So I think that's the plan at the moment, at least.
It's a good plan.
Stuff.
It's a very good plan.
Yeah.
And Stubbs, just to preface, that show will be solely about Hollow Knight. So you need to actually complete it by the time you have to get past the moth charger and do it fully, and then we'll talk about it. We need we need footage of you completing it. So
that is so good.
Just prepare for that. You got a little bit of time.
Yeah, and just as a backup topic as well, in case he doesn't do that. The other topic is just listing the number of ways Halo is better than Gears. And I think that'll keep us busy for a long time. So
that'll be a solid 2-hour show. I reckon.
Enjoy Stubbs.
So yes, thank you very much, everyone, again, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye bye.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.